something. He couldn't mention anything, and it just shared out. Of all my friends, and I know that we're all gifted in the Lord, but my sister Judy had the incredible gift of evangelism. She was just a born evangelist, and she loved her Catholic brothers and sisters so much, and it was her deepest, greatest desire that they would come to know the Lord personally as she did. I remember her saying to me, we used to talk about God and our favorite terms for Him, and she always referred to God as Papa. And we know now that Judy is with Papa, and just hugging him and loving him to pieces. And when I talked to Frank at 4 o'clock the afternoon before, and talked about what was happening, and that by the 20th everything would be finished and they would be on their way home, hopefully. And the next morning, 8:30, 9 o'clock, Frank called and told me that she went on to be with the Lord. He said something about 2:30 and 4. I didn't hear anything. I just fell down. And I was so taken. And after several days of crying, in my spirit, I said to Judy, tell me, Judy, what is heaven like? And I felt like she answered me, and she said, it's too beautiful for words. So we will all be there with her, I pray.
My name is Arnold. I met Judy at a time of great frustration and confusion. I had great love for Judy. I watched her and she had an impact on me that was quite significant. I moved to her neighborhood and in close proximity to her. I could hear her talk when I was on her porch, and she sat out there and I was on my porch. I heard her talking around the ground. I knew that she was a strong Christian. She had strong Christian values. God was number one in her life. But I knew a lot of people. When I grew up as a talking like a Christian anyway, something was wrong with me. I was baptized in my early teens, but my heart had something missing. So I prayed about it. I knew that I had to go further. Judy helped me get there. The Lord heard my prayers. He raised my faith. He eliminated my confusion. He brought me peace. And He did that through the works of Judy and I. Judy and I became prayer partners. We would talk about the word, I should say. We talked about its implications, its application. We talked about it over the phone. We talked about it in our apartments, in our units, condos. We talked about it around the pool. We talked about it at the beach. We talked about it incessantly. So my mind became sharp in this area. I had no more problems. I had no more confusion. And I had Judy to thank for this. See, Judy, I told you that I knew others that had strong conviction. But Judy had a balance in her life. She was fun to be around. So I enjoyed the whole description of things that I just described. Sitting around the pool talking about the Word on Sunday afternoon. So it's a great pleasure that I look at where she is now and realize that she's going to be there for the rest of her life. Getting just what she is there. And that's forever. That's a warm feeling.
I too am one of the newer friends of Judy's. I met her here at this church. I had the privilege of meeting her family. I've met a lot of you. I'm not going to mention all by name because it would take too long, but I know a lot of you, a lot about you because of Judy. You probably heard that week, some of you. My husband and I, Morgan, we spent time with Judy and Frank in Florida. We go to visit. We got our boat for Florida from Judy and Frank, and we were blessed, and we have a home there too. Many times, while we were in Florida, we would go visit Calvary Church. We just loved to go there and just have a wonderful time in the Lord. Don't get jealous, Pastor, because this was home. She loved it here best. And this was where many of her spiritual friends were, and a lot of her soul sisters were here. I'm grateful to have known Judy, even though we all know she was just quite a drama queen. We just loved her for it. I mean, we were always, as you said, we were always dancing, and that's behind your song in Florida. And we were going to dance to that song around the pool, along with the lime and coconut, right? We would have a lot of serious talk when we were in Florida. We would pray together, and we would talk about a lot of spiritual things, about church. And for some reason, and I guess it was for today, Judy would talk about this verse. I think she read it at a funeral to a friend from long ago, who I didn't know, but Judy read this verse. It was from the Song of Solomon, and the Song of Solomon, is a correspondence between two lovers, and it's love letters, and they share their love, their deep love and their compassion to one another. And the verse was from the Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 1 and 2. And it goes like this: I am the rose of Sharon, and the lily of the valleys. Like the lily among the thorns, so is my love among the daughters. So I looked up that word rose of Sharon, because it is a flower, but it's not a rose as we envision a rose to be. It is sort of like let me make sure I get the description of it. It's a very fragrant, bright, white, tubular, trumpet-like flower, sort of like a lily that you would envision a lily. And when you go over to the social hall, you will notice white lilies on the table. And they're sort of like those lilies, but they're a little smaller. And Judy would say, oh, that's a God thing. That for some reason, when we look at these lilies, every time you look at a lily now, I think you're going to think of Judy. Because she's in those white garments. The rose of Sharon, as it speaks of, it's referring to Christ. And in Matthew, in chapter 17, it tells us that at the Transfiguration, Christ's garments were bright white. And in Revelation 3, it tells us that they that overcome will walk with Christ in white garments. And we know our sister is in her garments of white. And I have a paper in my hand, and I was going to read off of it, but I can't because I'm shaking. And I wanted to go back to what I had first written, and I guess it's supposed to be this way, because during the past few days, in reminiscing over the thoughts of Judy, we were speaking of, she was this, and she was that, and boy, she was this and that. And I thought, I'm using the wrong text. I'm using the wrong grammar. She is. She is with the Lord. And through Judy's time here, that she was going through this time, she was bearing this thorn, if you want to refer to it as her thorn.